Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to the Animorphs universe. Today we're doing a review of these things here. You probably can't see them too well. I wish I had like a little invisible shelf right here, or right in front of me. These are the 2011 Animorphs reissues. The lenticular cover ones, like you can see there. Look at it being all lenticular. In 2011, Scholastic did reissues of the Animorphs book to try to see if they could, bring it back, as it were. 10 years, roughly, after the series' original run, they said, let's give it another go with new book covers. And these are the new covers, or what were the new covers. These were not well received, nor were they well sold. So this review, by the way, is going to come in two separate parts. This first part is just reviewing the physical things and the marketing and all that. The second part, I'm going to be going over all the changes in the book. Because one of the things that the reissues did is it went through the first 8 books and changed a few things, edited to bring it up to speed for more modern audiences, or modern audiences for the time. And that meant grammar changes, changing where there were retcons, changing where there were mistakes in whatever form they came in. Sometimes the changes were arbitrary and seemingly pointless. Sometimes they were quite big. We'll go over that in the second video of this little mini series. But first, let's look at these things and just have a look at why they failed and are they any good. This is the original style of Animorphs book covers. You all know it by now. If you're on this channel watching these videos, you probably know exactly what the old Animorphs book covers are like. And they've become a meme. We've talked about this a lot. They are a meme. But people are fond of them. And then this is the reissue. I've asked Animorphs fans this before on the channel, and almost universally they say they prefer this one over this one. But are we looking at it through nostalgic eyes? Part of me thinks yes. Because it's very 90s, it's very dated, and it's iconic, but there's a reason it gets used as a meme template. It's silly. Very silly. All you have to do is look at the mid-morphs to see what I mean. Some of the books were a bit more artistic. I'll show you. For example, books like 17 appear to have been entirely painted, and the design comes off a lot better. It looks better, but most of them were done with this CGI effects thing going on, which did often come up with some disastrous results. So maybe Scholastic saw that and thought, okay, so as much as people like those covers, they were a bit ridiculous. Let's try changing things up. Let's go a bit more modern. Let's go a bit more tech savvy and use lenticular covers. So they've got the actors, or the models. You can't see Jake too well. Close enough there. And then if you turn the book, he becomes the lizard. And you know what? I think these get a bad rap. I like the idea. I do. And the background here with all the scales, we'll look at each book individually in a minute. I think it's fine. It's fine. It's not outstanding, but I think it works, the lenticular cover thing. This one, of course, is The Invasion, which is the first book of the series. All the covers for the lenticulars copied the morphs on the original run of books, so that's the first one. This is the lenticular version for book 2. So there's Rachel. And if you turn it, she becomes Fluffer McKitty. Turn it back, there she goes. And it comes with an orange look to it. The Encounter, you can see that they all have the same theme basically. Oh, the stickers come off that one. But I will get another lenticular version of this one, but the actual sticker on the front came off. Or, and I suspect some of these were printed without the lenticular bit. That is bad. You know, if you're going to do it properly. This particular version didn't. So, yeah. The message, you've got Cassie there. Turn it, and a dolphin she becometh. Eventually. Where's it going? I think that's it. Again, You can see that instead of scales, it's a water pattern, and I'm fond of that. The Predator. Where is Marco? There he is, and you turn it, and there's the gorilla. Ooh, that sort of thing. Excellent. Number 6, the Capture. We've got Jake again, turning into the Fly. The Fly, yes. The Stranger. Now, this and a couple of the others, you can actually see the fingerprint pattern that was present on the UK editions. So a lot of these do have that very faint fingerprint style that was very prominent on the early Animorphs run. So it keeps some of the old things. But there's Rachel again, and she turns into a grizzly bear. Excellent. And here's the last one, book 8. Oh yeah, they never actually did a physical print of that one, so superimpose it onto my hand now. That's what it looks like. One thing I will say about these covers, I think the actual models don't look quite right. And by models I mean, so there's Jake. I can't quite get him, there he is. There. That's what his model looks like. Rachel's is there. Well, another one of Jake there. There's Marco. That's his actor or model. Cassie. And of course Tobias, we can't quite see properly here. I think those models look too old. Considering that in the books they start around 13, 14, all these models look 17, 18. So, but then again, the TV series did that as well, and we grew to, get that. But if this print was to go on for the rest of the series, they would have to change models eventually, of course. They did that in the old run of the books, which is understandable, but that's more towards the end. By the time they finished printing all these models would start growing proper facial hair and everything, and they'd have to change a lot sooner. So I probably would have got a bit younger with the models, but hey-ho. You may have noticed there that the whole book 8 thing. So they printed the first 7, but apparently sales were so bad that they got 8 ready, they edited it, they did the artwork for it, and then just decided, actually no, sod it. We ain't printing it. Because you can only estimate that basically no one was buying these things. Even the Animorphs community now, and probably back then as well, said we don't like the look of these things. And I might be in the minority saying I'm actually quite fond of them in their own little way. The majority don't think that, and that's fair. People missed the original design. Not only for nostalgia, but that's Animorphs. That's what it looks like. As silly as it might have been sometimes, that was Animorphs. And I think that's part of the mistake that Scholastic made. It made too much of a change. The lenticular design, very nice, lovely, but it wasn't the same. It didn't have that feel. Because I remember when I'd go into W.H. Smith when I was a youngster, and I'd go to the shelf and I'd pick it off the thing, and I'd see the morph on the cover, and that'd be like, bang, that's it. I want that one. That's what I wanted. So I probably wouldn't have been as enticed as a kid. Because I remember when I very first started reading Animorphs, I've mentioned this a few times, I had book 1 and book 6. I forget in which order specifically I had them, but I had those. And they sat around for a while, and eventually it was the covers that said to me, okay, I actually want to read this. It was those covers. Even though those are not the best covers of the series, I still looked at them and thought, I need to be reading that. And read them I did, and then look at me now. That's because of the original covers. Thing is, of course, if you're going to do this reissue, you've got to make it different enough that people feel the need to buy it. So I do understand why they'd say, right, we need to modern it up, we need to make it look a bit more snazzy, we need to make it a lenticular cover, because that looks cool to young people. Of course it didn't. Or was it because the marketing was crap? There was a couple, if you look on the internet, and I've looked at them before, there are a couple of adverts that Scholastic put out for these books. Maybe 2, I think there's definitely 1. Apart from that, was there a big push for them? Certainly not in the UK. I don't think these books were released in the UK at all, from what I remember. Obviously, ebooks, definitely, but I can't remember if they were published in the UK or not. All these prints here have the price on the back and it comes in US dollars. So I'm pretty certain there's no UK print for these. So I'm sort of out of the loop on that. But if you remember back in 2011 when these come out, I want you to tell me in the comments what the experience was, what you thought about the marketing, what you think about these books. I'm genuinely curious. Please do let me know. Thing is, we're learning now that further prints do basically the same thing. Look at, for example, these German reprints here. This one. That's a really snazzy print. It really is, and I do adore the look of these ones. Really snazzy covers. I prefer these, for example, to these ones here. How well are these selling? I actually got in contact with the publishers, and they said there are no plans to release book 4. So it looks like these ones may be finished before book 4, which is even sooner than those ones ended. That is despite being an objectively better cover than any of the others, personally. I've just ordered a Vietnamese book, and if you've seen them, you know that they're also fantastic. That seems to have stopped at book 13. Or was it 14? It was around there. But they seem to have stopped as well. Got a bit further than these ones. But you'll find that outside of the UK, just about. In fact, no, let's backtrack. In the US, every book was printed in the original run. Every single book got printed. The same could be said for, I believe, Germany. I think Germany printed them all. The UK, we were so close, so close. I don't believe we ever had the Animorphs Chronicles printed in this country. I believe that's the case. Yeah, so looking at this list of all the books that were released, and this is the last of the series, by the way, so this is the last printed. It lists Andlight's Gift, In the Time of Dinosaurs, Andlight Chronicles, Hork-Bajir Chronicles. So there were some books that the UK didn't even get around to publishing. Look at the graphic novels that Chris Grine is making. These ones here, they're clearly a new format. And again, they're pretty nice. They're not as nice as the new German ones. And for example, the new one, book 4, the front cover is bad, let's be honest. How far is that one going? Well, Chris Grine has been, a little while ago, he mentioned on his Twitter channel that he wasn't sure if it was going to continue after book 6. He's hopeful. And I do believe we may get 1 or 2 more. At the moment, we're definitely going up to 6. The release schedule has slowed down from what we were told it would be. So even, that's not going to go past 10, certainly. I'm 90% certain we won't get past 10, you know, for that particular series. So all these different series have tried all different covers and they've pretty much failed to get even near book 20, for example. Recently, Scholastic released these. They reissued the original covers. So now we also have this to look at. They've re-released the edited books, you know, with the updated grammar and all that sort of stuff, but they've released them with the old covers. How well have they sold? We haven't had another box set since, one of those tin sets, and there don't seem to be any indication of more to come. So what do we conclude here? Why did these fail? Is it their fault? Is it the cover's fault that they failed? Is it the editing in them? No, is my conclusion. They failed because Scholastic either can't be bothered to push Animorphs very well, it's trying but failing, or people just don't want Animorphs. Those are the 3 reasons. I don't think you're to blame. You're off the hook as far as I'm concerned, lenticular covers. There's something about Animorphs that just doesn't want to take off. It's got all the great ingredients there, but something about it just, like the TV series, for example, it got so far and it just flopped. It just came to an end. The Transformers models and everything. The only thing that Animorphs was successful until the Ghostwriters came along, really. That's when things started to go downhill, and by the end it was basically rushed out. Even the authors were just like, let's just get rid of this. There's something about Animorphs, despite all its charms and greatness, that just didn't work. Which is sad, and it's not the conclusion I thought I'd come to while recording this video review of those books. Is Animorphs a bad series? Is that a video for another day? I don't think it is, but I'm looking at it subjectively. Is there something about it that people just don't like? Is that why it keeps flopping? Or is it simply because Scholastic has done a bad job at marketing? But if it is as good as we Animorphs fans say, then surely Scholastic will be like, push it out there, get it going. Sometimes you can't just keep blaming Scholastic for Animorphs' failure. But that's a video for another day. In the end, these books here, they're fine. The biggest annoyance for me is that they didn't print book 8. It feels incomplete because there is that book out there. It was just never printed. And I feel empty because of that. Empty! They changed the fonts, by the way, if you're wondering, in these books. You didn't get the inset picture, of course. There you can see on the inside there, they advertised that one there, the alien. But it didn't happen, unfortunately. Animorphs, saving the world will change you. The action-packed series continues. Keep reading to discover the fate of the Animorphs. Well, we never did we? I will say, though, there is one thing that we've completed. Or are on the verge of completing. The audiobooks. That is only a few books away from completing basically the whole series, apart from Alternamorphs. Which, don't know if that's going to happen, I doubt it. But the actual canon series is almost complete. So if you want an example of something that Animorphs has seen to completion, go check out the audiobooks. The next book to be released will be the Hawkbajir Chronicles, which I'm going to be getting, and that releases somewhere near the start of November, so not far from now. Go check that out. Go check out, when it comes out, my second part of this review, which is looking at all the edits that take place in these lenticular covers here. So in conclusion, I quite like these as collector's editions. I just wish we had the last one. I'm not as offended by the front covers as a lot of other people are. If I had to choose between these and those ones, as much as I think these are objectively better, I've got to go with the originals. I do. I'd even go with the originals over something like this, which is just objectively better than pretty much everything else. But that's the nostalgia in me speaking. Anyway, that's what this is all about, isn't it? Nostalgia. Nostalgia. Let's make Animorphs a successful series together. Let's do it. Let's go buy those audio books, buy the graphic novels. Let's buy it all. I'm going to. So thank you very much for watching. Tune in for the second part of this review, which will be a bit more formal. And I shall see you next time, somewhere in the Animorphs universe. Ta-ra!